The problem with my estimates is that I get them wrong. What I thought would need a few days can take a week, sometimes two. And I've gotten it badly wrong, where 2 weeks' work took almost 2 months. Back when I was building my first product, a job search site, the first feature I decided to build was adding user accounts. I thought that this was a 1-week task, and today it would be, with services like Amazon Cognito or Auth0 that now make authentication easy. But this was back in the early 2000s, long before Cognito existed, and it took me more than a month. A few things caused me problems. I'm not good at design. No matter how long I spend on UIs, they just look bad. Building a secure authentication flow is complex, especially for a newbie. And managing user passwords needs extra care not to store them insecurely. I made lots of mistakes, but let's just focus on a few. I jumped in. I didn't think about how to build it, which then led to unanswered questions and delays. Back then, the task was too big. I didn't realize how much was involved. Actually, more accurately, it turns out, I'm bad at estimating big tasks. But I'm not alone. Big tasks are difficult for everyone. Just think of students rushing before a deadline. And experience doesn't help much either. Big companies make even bigger mistakes. And you'll find many examples across any industry, not just technology. Take the iconic Sydney Opera House. It was 10 years late and 10 times over budget. So now, when I have a feature to build, I create a collection of small tasks instead of a single big one. This is the simplest way that I've improved my estimates. By breaking apart a task, it forces me to think about what's involved to build it. I start to understand what's needed. For example, what are the steps to sign up and authenticate users? For me, the planning also helps me find the edge cases and remove some of the uncertainty before I start. And this then gives me clarity before I write a single line of code. Take signing up a user. I'll think, what UI elements are needed? What does the code need to talk to? And what data needs to be stored? This would then uncover that passwords need to be stored securely, and then I'd look at how to do it before I start. Now my estimates are based on knowledge, and all it took was a quick look at how to build it. I find this especially helpful when I'm building something I've not attempted before. Secondly, the collection of user stories really helps with prioritization. When I have stories like sign up, log in, or validate email addresses, user profiles, or recovering passwords, I can prioritize them. I'll aim to release the smallest usable version to users, then iterate quickly. The more that you can break up a task, the easier prioritizing becomes. For example, signing up a user. That sounds like one single task, but it can be broken up. Users can sign up with email or social providers. Try to think of these as two separate tasks: social sign-up and email sign-up. Social sign-up can be broken up further again. There are multiple identity providers like Amazon, Google, Facebook, Twitter, and more. Create a separate task for each. Now you have even smaller tasks, and then prioritizing can be based on your users' needs. Breaking up a task isn't just to make it smaller. It brings forward questions and hopefully the answers to the planning phase. For me, this is a big deal. When I'm coding, I want to be heads down and productive as possible. Questions like, do users want email or social sign-up, and which identity provider, aren't questions I can answer. I need to wait for the response from a customer or product manager. Each time I need to get an answer, it pulls me out of my flow. Getting these answers means I'm waiting and waiting for an unknown time before I can continue with that task. Sure, I'll jump to another task, but now I'm context switching, and that just doesn't work well for me. When you're working as a team on a big feature, you can divide the tasks depending on people's skills interests, or how much work they have. Dividing up a feature brings everyone close together, and it prevents a situation where only one engineer knows the feature and becomes a bottleneck. I'm a firm believer of build the technology that is core to your business. For everything else, get someone else to do it. Small stories help. They're easier to map to existing features from products or cloud services. So now, when I'm adding user accounts, I'd never even consider building it myself. I just use a service like Amazon Cognito and choose the features based on my customers' needs. You get by now that I like small tasks, but how small is too small? I was once told, make them as small as needed, but not any smaller. It's nice, but it's too abstract for me. I needed something specific, a personal guide. So I came up with 2 conditions. I needed to be confident in how to build it and sure that it would take less than 4 hours of work. Unless it meets both of these conditions, I'm breaking it apart. There's no one size fits all. This is really something that works for me. But I like the feeling of crossing items off the to-do list, and this way I get to do it at least twice a day. Quickly completing tasks builds momentum. It's incredibly satisfying seeing your customers use a feature and the feedback they give is valuable. Over the years, colleagues have been frustrated at me for completing my work late or my vague estimates. A lot has changed. Now I spend longer estimating. I go into details, I break things apart, and I prioritize. Doing this, I can give my customers the most important feature quickly, and often that might be enough, and then I can continuously improve it as needed. From what I've seen, thinking big but executing quickly through small features is a consistent theme of successful startups. So now's the time to get fine-grained and build up momentum with frequent releases. Your customers and you will both enjoy it. So click the like button if you found this video useful. I'd love to hear about your experiences, so leave your comments below. I'll also add some useful links in the description so you can get more information and also how to get AWS Activate credits. I'll be creating more videos on how to build your startup, so I look forward to seeing you the next time.